My dad and his new wife found out they had just 1 year to claim my late mom's fortune, and they turned my life upside down. My name's Alex, I'm 17, and I'm not your average high school kid. My story. It's a little out of the ordinary, to say the least. It all started when I lost my mom at age 7. That was hard enough, but I had no idea she'd left behind something massive, something life-changing. I'll get to that soon. When I was 9, my dad remarried. His new wife, Sarah, had a daughter named Emily, who's about a year younger than me. Sarah's fine, I suppose. She tries way too hard to win everyone over. Emily, though, we've never really clicked. She's not outright terrible, but she acts like the world owes her everything. Then there's Lucas, my half-brother, who's 5. He's a good kid, no problems there for now. Let's jump to last year when everything changed. My mom's parents called me for a serious talk. I thought it was going to be about college or some life advice, but they hit me with a shocker. When I turn 18, I'm set to inherit between $500,000 and $1 million. Yes, you read that right. My grandparents on my mom's side were incredibly successful business owners. They built a company, sold it for a fortune, and instead of keeping the money, they poured it into a trust just for me. I wasn't exactly thrilled when I heard this. Money doesn't bring my mom back, but knowing I had this kind of wealth waiting, that's a lot for a teenager to process. 1 minute you're thinking about summer jobs, and the next, your future's practically secured. My mom had planned for this before she passed. She wanted to make sure I'd be taken care of if anything happened to her. She also made it clear that my dad, his new wife, and her kids weren't to touch a penny. My grandparents kept adding to the trust over the years and managed it themselves. Pretty clever, right? They even kept the exact amount a secret from my dad. Fast forward to last year when my grandparents decided I needed to know. They didn't want me stepping into adulthood with a fortune and no idea how to handle it. They stressed it was for me alone. Not Emily, not Lucas, not Sarah. I didn't think it was a big deal to tell my dad at first. I assumed he knew it was a decent sum and wouldn't care. I was wrong. One evening while we were hanging out, I casually mentioned the inheritance I'd get at 18. His face went white, jaw practically on the floor. He clearly didn't expect it to be that big. Suddenly he's bombarding me with questions. How much? Where's it from? Who's in charge of it? I didn't want to hide it, so I told him the truth. Big mistake. He immediately told Sarah, and that's when things took a dark turn. They sat me down like I was in trouble. They started talking about how families should share wealth, how Emily wants to be a doctor but can't afford college without help. By help, they meant my money. Then they brought up Lucas, only 5, but what about his education? Wouldn't it be great if you could pitch in? I was stunned. This money was left for me by my mom and grandparents. Now they're acting like it's for everyone. I told them flat out, this is mine. Mom and my grandparents made that clear. It's not for Emily or Lucas. Sarah lost it. She went off about how selfish I was, how unfair it was that I'd keep all that money while my siblings needed it for their futures. My dad just nodded like she was making perfect sense. I couldn't believe it. They acted like I owed them something. Sarah kept going, saying things like, how can you think of keeping it all when you could change lives? Don't you care about family? But this wasn't about family. It was about them wanting a piece of the pie. I held my ground. I said I wasn't sharing, and if they didn't like it, too bad. You'd think I'd committed a crime. My dad tried again. I'm not saying all of it, just a portion. Think how much it could help everyone. Everyone? That money wasn't for everyone. It was for me. After that, the house became a pressure cooker. My dad and Sarah barely spoke to me. They kept their distance, but I could feel their resentment simmering. One night, I overheard Sarah talking to Emily in her room, telling her not to worry. They'd figure something out. It gave me chills. They were plotting something, I just knew it. But I wasn't naive. They were hoping to guilt me into giving up some of the money, but I wasn't budging. My mom set this up for a reason. She saw this coming. That's why the trust was locked until I was 18. I wasn't going to betray her wishes. Things at home got stranger. You ever walk into a room and feel like everyone was just talking about you? That was my life. Sarah and my dad acted distant, and Emily wasn't helping. Conversations would stop the second I showed up, and they'd look at me like I was the bad guy for not handing over my inheritance. It was oppressive. Then Sarah stepped it up. One day, while I was grabbing a snack in the kitchen, she tried to have a heart-to-heart. She said, Alex, you're making a mistake. You're young and don't understand what family really means. When you're older, you'll see that helping your siblings is worth more than money. I just stared at her and said, they're not my siblings. I laid it out. Emily's not my blood, and Lucas is only my half-brother. The inheritance has nothing to do with them. She looked like I'd slapped her. She tried to push back, talking about how family isn't just blood and I should care more. But I wasn't falling for her manipulation. It was the same tactic, make me feel guilty so I'd cave. A week later, things escalated. My dad and I had a massive fight. He'd been quiet for a while, so I thought he might have dropped it. Nope. He came home one evening all tense and said, "We need to talk." That serious dad tone that means trouble. We sat in the living room and he started slow, like he was holding back. "Alex, you're young. You might not grasp the responsibility of having that kind of money. I'm not saying give it all up, but Emily could use help with college, and Lucas has a future to think about. You could make a real difference." I felt my anger rising but kept it in check. "That's not my job," I said. "You and Sarah need to figure out Emily's college and Lucas's future. That's on you, not me." That's when he exploded, something he rarely does. He started yelling, "I've done everything for you, fed you, clothed you, raised you, and this is how you repay me, by being selfish." It stung, but I wasn't buying it. He was acting like I owed him for basic parenting. I shot back. "That money's from Mom and my grandparents. It's for me. You don't get to decide what I do with it." Then he hit me with something low. "Your mom would have wanted you to help your family. She wouldn't want you turning your back on them." That hurt, but I knew he was lying. My mom planned for this. She locked the trust until I was 18 for a reason. If she wanted me to share, she'd have set it up that way. "She didn't," I said. "She left it for me." After that, he didn't talk to me for days. Sarah stayed frosty too. The house felt like a freezer emotionally and otherwise. I'd come home from school and no one would acknowledge me. If I spoke, I'd get grunts or one-word answers. Emily, though, got bolder. I overheard her telling Sarah, "Why won't he just give me the money? It's not like he needs all of it. He could at least cover my tuition." Her entitlement was almost comical, like she genuinely believed she deserved a cut. I wanted to storm in and say, "It's not yours." But what was the point? Then Sarah pulled a wild move. She brought in a lawyer. She claimed it was to understand the legal side and ensure fairness. But I knew it was a scare tactic to pressure me into giving up some cash. The lawyer came to the house, and Sarah turned it into a big show, like we were in a courtroom drama. My dad was there but stayed quiet, letting Sarah run the scene. She said things like, "We just want to make sure Alex knows how this works and that everything's fair." The lawyer, though, wasn't impressed. He flat out said the trust was ironclad, set up by my mom and grandparents, and no one could change it unless I agreed. Sarah looked like she wanted to scream. She clearly expected a different outcome, but the lawyer shut her down. After that, Sarah dropped the fake niceness entirely. She wouldn't even look at me, which was honestly a relief. Less drama that way. By now, I knew things at home weren't going to get better. My 18th birthday was months away, and the tension was unbearable. It felt like they were all waiting for me to crack. Spoiler, I wasn't going to. Then my dad changed tactics. After weeks of the silent treatment, he suddenly got friendly. One morning over coffee, he said, "Hey, Alex, how about we go camping this weekend? Just you and me like old times." We hadn't gone camping in years. It was so obvious he was trying to butter me up. I just said, "Maybe, school's keeping me busy." I wasn't falling for the fake bonding. He didn't push, but I could tell he was hoping I'd soften. Truth was, I saw his game from a mile away. He thought being nice would make me more likely to share the money. Meanwhile, Sarah was up to something else. I came home one day to find her in the living room with papers scattered across the table. I didn't think much of it. She's always got work stuff out. But then I saw my name on one of the documents. I asked what she was doing and she gave me a fake smile. "Just going over some legal papers. We want to make sure everything's set for when you turn 18. That set off alarm bells. Sarah works in accounting or something, but this wasn't normal. Those papers were about my trust. I didn't confront her, but I made a note to stay sharp. Then came the final showdown. My dad and Sarah sat me down again. This time they didn't hold back. "Alex," my dad started, "we've been thinking. When you get the money, it'd mean a lot if you helped Emily with college." I was ready for this and didn't flinch. "We've been over this," I said. "That money's mine. Mom and my grandparents set it up for me, not Emily." Sarah jumped in. "But Alex, you'll have plenty. Emily's worked hard for her dreams. You could make that happen." I bit my tongue. I wasn't cruel. I knew college was expensive. But this was my future, not my job to fund someone else's. I said, trying to stay calm, "I get it, but it's not my responsibility. You and Dad need to handle Emily's college." Sarah lost it. She stood up, arms flailing, and yelled, "This is outrageous. You're sitting on a fortune and you're just going to keep it all. What kind of person does that?" Before I could respond, my dad added, "She's right, Alex." Think about your family. We've all sacrificed for you, and this is how you repay us. That pushed me over the edge. Sacrifices? I snapped. What sacrifices? I've been living my life, going to school, not asking for anything. Now you think I owe you because I'm getting something? I'm done. They looked shocked, like they didn't expect me to fight back. But I was tired of being their punching bag. A few days later, I got a call from my mom's lawyer. Turns out my dad had reached out to him, trying to dig into the trust's details to see if it could be challenged or altered. I was livid. He wasn't just guilting me, he was trying to legally take my money. I called my grandfather right away, and he was furious. "Don't worry, Alex," he said. "That trust is locked down. Your dad and Sarah can't touch it." That calmed me down, but I still couldn't believe my own dad would stoop so low. At this point, it wasn't just about the money. It was about principle. This trust was my mom's legacy for me, and he was trying to undermine it because he and Sarah couldn't manage their own finances. As my 18th birthday got closer, the tension skyrocketed. Sarah got colder than ever, barely acknowledging me. Emily followed suit. It was like I'd been erased from the family. A week before my birthday, my dad made one last attempt. He came to me alone, looking drained. "Alex," he said, "I know things have been tough. I get that the money's yours, but can I ask one last favor before you decide? Emily's future depends on this, just enough for her first year of college." I didn't hesitate. "No," I said, "not happening. That's on you and Sarah. I'm not paying for Emily, Lucas, or anyone else. This is my inheritance, and it's staying that way." He didn't respond right away. He just stared at the ground for a long time, then nodded and said, "Okay, I understand." Then he walked away. For the first time in months, I felt like I could finally breathe.